Science, math, and reading, they're core courses at the foundation of education, but now it seems there are cracks forming in at least one of those areas. Data from the State Education Department shows more than half of students transitioning from middle school to high school are underperforming on standardized tests that measure reading. Here lately, whenever you hear about a drop in educational scores, people chalk it up to time lost in the classroom due to the pandemic. But in this case, the losses predate the pandemic. News 19's Kayland Hagwood takes a deep dive into the issue and efforts being taken to help students read to learn.
State Department of Education data from as far back as 2016 shows students from 3rd to 8th grade are falling behind in standardized tests that measure reading comprehension year after year. Department leaders say some need intensive remediation to get back up to speed. Still, students have been able to progress to the next grade, with districts working to find a solution.
It's not that they can't read. It's they have a difficult time comprehending what they're reading.
Dr. David Mathis is the Deputy Superintendent of College and Career Readiness with the State Department of Education. His office oversees standards and literacy for students across the state.
In high school, oftentimes their textbooks are very dense. They're very long passages to read. As they struggle, that escalates the problem.
The State College and Career Ready Assessment, or SC Ready, measures progress in English language arts. This includes reading, writing, and communication. Now, the test is required by federal law, but in 2021, parents could opt out because of the pandemic. So we looked at numbers from 2019. Still, more than half of rising South Carolina high schoolers underperformed.
The students that are suffering the most are those students who were behind prior to the pandemic. I think it's statewide, especially in underserved areas. It just didn't happen in high school. It has started in that building phase.
Some of the lowest scores in the Midlands were at schools in Lee, Lexington, and Orangeburg counties. Patrick Kelly with the Palmetto State Teachers Association, one of the largest associations for educators in the state, says a student's home environment or how they feel can play a role in the test result.
There are factors beyond schooling that impact student achievement. Factors like access to text during early childhood, around poverty.
Academic words or phrases may also stump learners, the state says, but districts like Lexington Richland 5 are working to find a solution.
You really are talking about something that's going to have a potential lifelong impact.
Joe Eberlin is the assistant principal for instruction at Dutch Fork High School.
It's not so much the actual ability to read, it is more that comprehension piece. It's more the stamina to sit for 10-15 minutes on one reading passage can be a challenge.
They're piloting a new literacy program to work on reading stamina and confidence.
We often see fewer students needing the course in the second year.
So how did we get here? The state says disparities that exist across South Carolina have contributed to the years-long reading comprehension issue. As for grade progression, students move forward based on coursework, not standardized test scores, though Dr. Mathis says the coursework should meet state standards.
We hope it does. In a lot of cases, it may not, because teachers are overwhelmed, I think, with the depth that they have to go to.
They're looking at ways to adjust the standards to allow for more learning time, with the hope of increasing student performance.
As we're rewriting our standards, we're going to have fewer standards so that teachers can go deeper.
Kelly, who is a high school teacher himself, says fewer standards could be helpful.
By allowing them to dive deeper into their learning instead of having to skim through things at a surface level. I think we also need to create a more holistic assessment regimen beyond a simple one-time high-stakes test.
Dr. Mathis says parents can help too.
Go to the school and talk to the principal, the guidance counselor, the teacher, and ask clearly, how is my child succeeding? What more can we do? Are there things that we can do, I can do at home to help?
The State Department of Education is working to provide training and resources to districts to try to help with this issue. Now, if you'd like to see how your student school is performing, we do have a link to the data on our website, WLTX.com. It will bring you here where you can see years of information. If we take a look at 2021, it will show us not only state-level scores, but also district and school-level information. Kayland Hagwood, News 19, WLTX.